Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how it seems like there's so many people out there who hate that you need to get paid in order to survive. And theoretically, the way that this society is supposed to work is that you leave your house, right? You leave your house, you go to a job, do work, get paid, and then go home, right? But it just seems like from this simple way that life is supposed to work, there are all these curveballs that are, at least from my point of view, I didn't expect that would exist. And so one of the things that I thought was really bizarre is that how, especially my generation, there were so many people who wanted to work for free for work experience. And right here, there's a book called Intern Nation that I remember reading in about like 2012, and it says how to earn nothing and learn little in the brave new economy. Right? I thought it was a really interesting book, and I really thought how strange it was that our generation was conditioned to kind of was set up to fail, right? Oh, well, you need an internship, and it's like, why do I need an internship? Because you need to learn how to work for free, and and our generation, and I'm a millennial by the way, I feel like was screwed in so many ways. Number one, we were the generation that started to go to college in mass, probably more than any other generation. And number two, we were the generation that was brainwashed to get a home at any price, right? And if you know like the statistics, they say in this year, 2024, 90% of millennials regret buying their first home, right? So I just feel like we were conditioned to essentially fail at many aspects of society, okay? And then if I go in here, there's a YouTube video that people hate it when you make money. And I really thought about that. I was like, yeah, that's so true, right? You ever notice that the average shopper, if they shop at a place that's a very big impersonal entity like Walmart or Amazon, they're really happy to whip out their credit card. But if you're like an individual, let's say salesman, right? Like you're independent salesman, a lot of people just resent that if they pay you, you directly benefit from it, right? And my theory is that a lot of it just comes from our garbage school system that where people get conditioned to think that their neighbors, friends, hometown are their enemies, and that's kind of like how the TV show Squid Game was is that the people around you are your enemies, and so when you go out there and become an adult in the world and you live in a financial system where you have to get paid for your work, but then people come up in a garbage school system that conditions them to think that their people around them are their competitors. They develop this mindset where if they have to pay an impersonal entity like a giant corporation like Amazon, that's okay because they can't see who's getting paid. But if they pay, if they see an independent salesman trying to make some money, then it's like they resent that person. You ever notice that? It's kind of weird, right? And here's the thing, I kind of noticed that when I was like doing the Zoom calls too, because I try to sell stuff on the Zoom calls. I admit it. And frankly, I think that the prices that I sell things are really cheap, and I think that's the problem too. I got to start raising prices. Now, um, funny thing is, when you're in my position, right, you actually don't need money because I like to pull this out, but this is how much I put in my HELOC last month, and I used to make $20,000 a year, and so right now, like a long time ago, when I used to be $20,000 a year, I was like, man, if I made like double that, my life would be so sweet, and I make far double that, and so like whatever money I make above 50,000, it feels like cherry on top. But sometimes, when I try to sell things to people that I don't need the money in, I could just see, like feel it in their bone that they almost resent me that I'm gonna get paid a commission if they purchase the product, right? You ever feel that? I feel that sometimes, and it's funny. A long time ago, I used to like when I was like, I think it was like 2011 or 2012. I actually tried selling life insurance, so I failed in a teaching career, and it wasn't like my actual career. It was like just a little stint, but I felt like a failure. And then so I was just like, well, I'll try something else. And then I answered an ad to sell, financial services products, which is essentially the term life insurance companies like market themselves nowadays. But I remember they told me hey, you need to start making your own production and sales. And I actually did that, and they actually yelled at me for making sales, and I thought that was the most weirdest thing in the world. Like, I can't eat unless I make sales. This is a direct sales commission position, and then I did make some sales, and then I got yelled for it. Like, I don't get it. Like, don't you want more sales so that the life insurance company or your agency makes more money? And I got yelled at it. I was like, what the f is this? And that's why, like, life is such a tricky uh, place to kind of navigate, because it's like at every turn in your life, it seems like there's some sort of weird conspiracy to make to make sure that you don't get paid, or there's some sort of resentment that you should be paid what you're worth, right? Like, I don't get why people do that. Like, I love paying people, and you know why I love paying people? Because I value the work being done than me keeping the money. Right? Like, I don't. What do I need my money for? Because I want work to be done. Right? I don't want to do work myself because I'm lazy, especially as I'm getting older. But too many people, man, they love the money and they use the people. Really strange how that works. All right. Well, um, yeah, it just seems like I don't want to say these days because I feel like it's been true for at least 20 plus years. But man, people do hate it when you make money, right? They kind of resent you. And you could see how people react when they don't have any like reservations about paying a big corporation like Walmart or Amazon. And you ever notice that like in many small businesses just kind of go out of business because like when Walmart or Amazon comes in, everybody just goes there and they don't support their local business, and then when their local business goes out of business, they complain like, why don't we have any local business anymore? Well, maybe you got to spend your money there, but people they don't see the connection. All right, well, that's it for today. So yeah. So what do you think? Or am I crazy? Do you think I'm crazy? I used to think about this especially all the time. And when I tried to sell life insurance and they told me to sell some and I did, and I got yelled at it for that. It was the most insane thing. I was like, what the F? And I think that's why for many, many years I just didn't make any money because I was just like, what's the point? Like, they're going to tell me that I should be good at this. And then when I do get good at it, they feel threatened. It's like, what? Like, what do I do? All right, well, this is Crane Lanta Mentorship. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll speak next time.